Okay, we're rolling. Good evening, guys. What is it? It's Wednesday. Can't believe I had to think about that for a minute. It's kind of like that time of the year though, right? That period of the year, Christmas, New Year's, where you kind of lose track of the actual date or the day of the week, and you just know it's that limbo period between the end of the current year and the beginning of the new year. Yeah, Wednesday, which means it's arms tonight, and I'm trying a new essential amino acid flavor. It's the strawberry lime by Optimum Nutrition Amino Energy. I actually got this one for my fiance, and I was going to use green apple tonight, but I forgot to pack it in my bag. But thankfully she packed this in her bag, so I just snagged a couple servings of this one. Yeah, that period of the year where you just kind of lose track of what day it is, what the date is, whether it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. But the bulk's gone alright. Back obviously on high-ish calories, 5,000 per day, 800 carb, 350 protein, and then the rest in fat. So it's basically trace fats. Body weight's basically just sitting, hovering around where it's been this entire week, really, like 113.5, 114 kilo. So kind of spiked a little bit initially when I increased food, and then beyond that point, it's basically just sat there, despite the massive feast on Christmas at the buffet and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, food will likely be increased again soon, but I really don't care if it is or isn't. Like, my appetite is pretty much not non-existent, but it's content. Like, I'm content eating what I'm currently eating. Anything else will be a bit of a chore, but it's a necessary part of the process eventually. But whenever I lose my appetite, I know I could potentially be leaner. So, I mean, although my coach and I did wrap up the mini cut the other week, if I really wanted to, I probably could have pushed the mini cut longer and turned it into an actual deficit phase, which in hindsight wouldn't have necessarily been a bad thing, but there's always the option to be a little bit more aggressive with the next mini cut. And yeah, I mean, I've never really been someone to eat a lot of food, to be honest. Aside from post-show, immediately post-show, my appetite is through the roof for a few weeks. But aside from that, my appetite's usually pretty average year-round, which I can obviously use to my advantage. But yeah, arm session tonight. Because I have more time to do this session, I'm not going to do what I did last week and superset all the exercises, because although it does save you a lot of time, if they're not antagonist body parts, if it's not like bicep and tricep supersetted, if it's actually just bicep, and tricep in the supersets, the second exercise suffers substantially. And it's not something that I want to do. I want to try avoid doing that as much as possible and focus on maximizing the effectiveness of every working set. So that means basically, holy shit, that means basically straight sets and my rep match sets with normal rest intervals between each working set and normal rest intervals between each exercise, not pairing anything. So yeah, that's the plan of action. Basically moving into the session. So I'll start with triceps as usual. Well, actually I'll start with calves. I'll do my calf training. I've just got one exercise for calves today, the horizontal calf press, and then straight into tricep work, and from there bicep work, and that'll be it. 3 exercises for triceps, 3 for biceps, 1 for calves, a total of about 20 working sets, I believe. I'll be able to tell you exactly when I'm in the gym looking at my actual training log, but straight off the top of my head, I think it's about 20 working sets. So decent length arm session. And because I'm not doing the supersets, it will take a little bit longer than the last week's session did, although I've got the time to burn, so why not? First working set. Same weight as last week. So 3 sets of dumbbell skull crushers with like a prone grip, I suppose you could say. Same way Dr. Mike Israel performs them. Before I dive into the second set, I'll just have a little bit of a drink and reflect on that first set. Oh, this tastes horrible. Oh, I kind of feel bad I bought that flavour for my fiance now. I won't be buying that one again. So yeah, if you're thinking of trying the strawberry and lime amino energy, don't. Tastes like dog's vomit. Not that I know what that tastes like, but another set of these now. First set always feels pretty rough, like the elbows are feeling rusty, and then by the time you get through that first set, they're kind of warmed up. So this set will feel a lot better, I think, but when it comes to how many reps I got, I believe I hit a 5 rep PB on this in comparison to last week's first working set, but I wasn't going all out last week too, because it was the first week of the new block and I still felt quite fatigued despite having to deload the week prior. So as I mentioned in the last arm training video from Wednesday last week, I wanted to intentionally just take that first week of the training block nice and easy, almost kind of like an extension to the deload week, just so I could kind of allow for that additional recovery to take place. And I'm feeling a lot better for it, that's for sure. But that's the reason why I've hit 5 rep PB. I didn't actually hit a 5 rep PB. In all honesty, if I actually went to failure last week, I probably would have hit about 17, 18 reps. So it's like a more or less a 2 rep PB, which is more of a reasonable PB to hit. So, time for set number 2. Actually, make sure to do a thumbless grip. Yeah. Lost a couple of reps on that set in comparison to the first one, but still went right on the cusp of failure, so that's what matters. Oh shit, I forgot the thumbless grip. So in this session, I'll probably hit quite a few PBs, but they're not actually PBs, they're just PBs like I kind of hinted there. No supersets this week means I'm going to have a little bit more gas in the tank per se for each exercise. So I might hit a rep PB on every exercise or every other exercise, but in actuality, if I was doing supersets, I probably would find that I'm not actually hitting any PBs from last week. It's just, like I said, going into the set a little bit more well rested and recovered will afford me the ability to get maybe 1 or 2 extra reps out compared to what I got last week when I supersetted everything. So we've only got 13, 12, 11 on this last week with this weight, plate number 6. So I should hypothetically get 15, 13, 12, whatever. Maybe even more, who knows. Also, what the fuck am I wearing? I look like the fucking boy in the striped pajamas on Trent or something. This is a weird outfit. No, go for it, yeah. Let's see if my camera will be my friend and let me record this entire set before the remaining 3% battery power runs out. I've got another spare battery in my bag, but I just don't want to switch it over yet. So I bumped the plate up to 7, or the weight up to 7 plates this time instead of 6. That last set was a little bit of an average one. Didn't feel that great, like felt like I probably could have gone a little bit more in terms of reps, that is. But I guess the set will determine whether or not that was fact or just a false assumption. Because I'll keep the weight the same and I'll really focus on just going right on the cusp of failure on this set. And if I get roughly the same, no, go for it, mate, go for it, yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, if I get roughly the same number of reps on this set, then yeah, I know I was going close enough to failure, but if I get, say, 3 or 4 more, then I know I was bitching out on that last set. Oof. Okay, I was going hard enough on that second set. That's always a relief, knowing that you weren't bitching out and that you would have been a little bit hard on yourself mentally. So, time for tricep focus push-ups, then on to biceps. I'm gonna have to do calves at the very end because obviously I didn't do it at the start. It was taken when I wanted to use it, so rather wait to start my session. Figured I'll just slot those in wherever because it's not really important exercise order-wise when I do calves. Yeah. So 2 of these, I believe. 2 sets, let's have a look. Yes, 2 sets of body weight, but fuck. Ugh. I got 13, 14 last week, so if I can go 14, 14, I'll be very happy. Because I've still got chest DOMs from Monday, and it's only Wednesday. I'm going to do a very tricep dominant setup with this neutral, narrow hand placement. I always used to think bodyweight exercises were for pussies and that you couldn't really build muscle. But that was back when I knew jack shit. I can tell you now, if you've ever doubted bodyweight exercises, you should really reevaluate your stance on them, because at the end of the day, the muscle that you're training, your muscles don't recognize whether you're using dumbbells or cables or bodyweight, for crying out loud. All your muscles can do is respond to the mechanical tension and the resistance that you're applying to them. So if you're progressively, gradually getting heavier through a growing phase, if you're bulking and you're progressively, gradually getting heavier on the scales, that is essentially the equivalent of slowly increasing the weight on an exercise like a tricep press down, for example. But it's just kind of like a built-in, natural, self-regulating linear progression model. So say I'm increasing at a rate of 0.5% body weight per week over the next several weeks. If I do a set of 12 with close grip push-ups this week with my body weight, next week my body weight's going to be 5% heavier. So if I do a set of 12 again with a close grip set up on the push-ups next week with that slightly heavier body weight, that's essentially the equivalent of going up an increment in dumbbells on a bicep or a tricep movement. So yeah, bodyweight exercises have a time and a place. Do I think that they're advantageous in a fat loss phase? Yes, but for different reasons. But I think they're very beneficial in a growing phase as you're getting heavier. So yeah, don't neglect bodyweight movements just because you think that they're easy, because you're not strapping a bunch of weight to yourself. Okay, first bicep movement, about to go down. And it's 4 sets of this, because in order for the volume to be equal between triceps and biceps throughout the entire week of training, I need to have one additional working set on each of the bicep movements in this session. So instead of 3-3-2, which I have for tricep, for the 3 tricep exercises in this session, I'm doing 4-4-3 in terms of working sets for biceps. So 4 of these, 4 incline dumbbell curls and 3 cable curls. And what did I get last week? It was 12 reps, 11 reps, 12 reps, 11. So that's what I'm aiming to beat. I have to put my earphones on. It's unbearable in this gym tonight. There's actually people training arms with a weight belt on. Like, it's embarrassing. And they're making more noise than somebody doing a 1 RM deadlift. It's distracting me in a bad way. So I'm gonna put my audio on now. Put my happy place sounds on. Alright, last one. Then on to incline dumbbells. Getting a good pump tonight. I mean, I drank a shitload of water today, so if I wasn't getting a pump, I'd be worried. I think I'm up to like 7 litres of water so far. Alright. $10 kilo dumbbells, same as last week. If I can find them. Yep, bingo. Now this incline's a little bit steeper than last week, so I might get a few more reps. See how we go. As suspected, I got an extra 3 reps on top of what I did last week. See if I can replicate that again. There's one to go. Final set, 4th set. Oh. 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 Final exercise now. Final bicep exercise, and technically the final exercise of the session, but I still got to do calves. Whether I record that or not, that'll be another question. So same weight as last week, but a different attachment. Instead of using that like V grip attachment that I normally use for the press downs, which is what I used for cable curls last week, I'm using a straight bar attachment. I just can't be asked changing it over. All right. 14 or more, hopefully. Second set. I gotta remember to flex my triceps at the end of each rep on this to really stretch the bicep out, because you don't get much of a stretch on a cable curl. So you gotta really consciously focus on extending at the elbow as much as possible to get the most amount of stretch. Might have looked like I was pausing a little bit mid-set there, but I was. That's why. There are my rep match sets, not just regular straight sets. So I've got to match the reps that I got in the first set on each of the preceding sets. One to go, one more set of 15, and arms are done and dusted. Now, I figured I'd record this set from a slightly different angle, mix it up and keep it interesting for you guys. So yeah, that last set was good. Like, I think honestly it was like the perfect balance between maintaining good execution and also getting a little bit of body language in toward the end. Because like, even though you want to prioritize technique, you don't want to prioritize it to the point to which you never actually train hard. Like, that's kind of defeating the purpose. It's about finding that kind of Goldilocks zone between perfecting execution and training with some grit. If you train with too much grit and forego execution, the whole set goes to shit, you potentially get injured. and it just looks embarrassing. And then if you focus too much on technique, you're never going to get close enough to failure. And again, that also looks embarrassing in its own way.